Hey guys, so today I want to briefly discuss Nietzsche's God is Dead. So, this is a really, really misunderstood idea. You'll hear a lot among new atheists or people who just have not read Nietzsche's work take it to be Nietzsche saying he's in favor of atheism or it's a triumphant proclamation, right? But properly understood, this is not what the death of God means. The death of God is not a metaphysical speculation upon ultimate reality. It's not an atheistic proclamation. It is a diagnosis upon modernity. And it's a fearful diagnosis about what will happen when God is erased from our lives. When our ultimate point of reference, that has always been God, is wiped of all of its color. The horizon is, colorless. So, following from God being taken out of the picture, Nietzsche fears that human beings will fall into nihilism. And there is primarily three forms of nihilism. The first would be cosmic nihilism, and these aren't really in any particular order. But cosmic nihilism is the notion that the universe itself is vapid. It's just utterly devoid of any meaning. Moral nihilism is where there are no moral values. There's no objective right or wrong. It's not really wrong to kill people. It's not really wrong to do whatever the hell you want. It really reduces to a kind of relativism. Because if there is no ultimate point of reference, there's no ultimate legislator who is ordaining this objective morality, these objective values, these objective moral standards and duties, then nothing you're really doing is wrong. It's just subjective. It's just a preference. Hey, you like the flavor of chocolate ice cream. I like vanilla. I like to dismember people. I don't like to dismember people. It's not really objectively wrong if there is no God, if there is no ultimate arbiter of the cosmos. The next form of nihilism would be existential nihilism, and this is perhaps the worst form of nihilism because it all starts with the self, right? That life is devoid of intrinsic meaning. My life has no purpose. It has no ultimate meaning. It has no ultimate value. What should I even live for? What's the point? If we're just going to disappear into nothingness and none of this matters anyway, why not do whatever I want? Why even continue to live? And you have to think, too, our secular culture, in radical contrast to all other cultures throughout history, is the first to present the notion that we are doomed. There is no afterlife. There is no God. How will this ultimately look 300 years from now? Will we be able to recover from this? Will we be too fatigued to recover from this? Will we just give up on life? This is a very possible consequence of the death of God, and this is what really concerns Nietzsche. So, in closing, the death of God has nothing to do with atheism. It's not a metaphysical speculation about ultimate reality. It's just an analysis and a diagnosis upon modernity. Nietzsche himself admits that God could exist, but it's not really a question that concerns him. He's interested with human beings affirming the earth and kind of reverting back to a more aristocratic Roman Greek order. I should add too, real quick, that some people will counter and say that Nietzsche's excited about the death of God. He's not fearful. But I think it's a mixture of both. I think that's really clear throughout his work. With the death of God, sure, it excites him that there will be a pathway to the Übermensch, that we can overcome Christian and religious dogma, political dogma, and again, we can affirm the earth, like the Romans and Greeks. We can be devoid of any resentment, of any need to posit other worlds. But we should also not pretend that Nietzsche is not fearful of this. Again, this is very clear throughout his work, and in fact, in Ecce Homo, his autobiography, he states that with the death of God, the world will see wars that it has never seen before. And, in other areas too, like the gay science, he talks about, like I mentioned earlier, the horizon is wiped of all of its color. We'll have to become gods of our own. He clearly talks about a possible point of no return. And importantly, too, Nietzsche's entire philosophy is trying to counter nihilism, trying to overcome nihilism. It's an antidote to nihilism, his philosophy. And this is a book by Walter Kaufmann called Nietzsche, Philosopher, Psychologist, Antichrist. He's a Nietzschean scholar, and I want to read real quick this short little passage. He says, to escape nihilism, which seems involved both in asserting the existence of God and thus robbing this world of ultimate significance, and also in denying God and thus robbing everything of meaning and value. That is Nietzsche's greatest and most persistent problem. So Nietzsche is combating nihilism. He's not in favor of atheism. It's not a proclamation. He's trying to find a solution to the inevitable, probably negative consequences of the death of God, unless we can become gods of ourselves and manage to overcome this. Only time will tell. So thank you guys, and take care.